Hi everyone, I'm Kirsten Alberts and I'm a trauma counsellor specialising in familial abuse. Of all the holidays we have to cope with, Mother's Day has got to be the absolute worst. Not only do we have to find ways to survive it, we really don't want to have to. We'd give anything to have mothers to spoil and pamper. Instead, we plaster smiles on our faces as our friends whisk their mums to brunch, showering them with cards and flowers, saying, "My mum is my best friend," while we try not to cry or vomit or both. Because despite our very best attempts to be truly happy for those who do have mothers worth celebrating, this day is a tragic reminder that we never will. Because we live in a world where mothers can do no wrong, we must also cope with being misunderstood, misjudged, and even blamed outright for choices we didn't make. If the choice was up to us, we'd have the kind of relationship our friends have with their mothers in less than a heartbeat, but it wasn't up to us. Our mothers chose abuse and neglect over love and support, and because of their choices, they robbed us of far more than just one day a year. So I thought I'd start with a bit of history. Did you know that the woman who started Mother's Day was the same woman who fought to end it? In 1905, 2 years after her mother's death, Anna Jarvis appealed to the US Congress to declare a holiday honoring a mother's love. She chose the carnation as its symbol, saying, "The carnation doesn't drop its petals, but hugs them to its heart as it dies. And so too mothers hug their children to their hearts, their mother love never dying." And how beautiful is that? But unsurprisingly, florists, greeting card companies, perfumers, and a host of other corporations exploited the holiday for all it was worth, destroying Anna's vision of a day spent honoring a mother's love and transforming it into one of greed, competition, and coercion. Jarvis, thoroughly disgusted with how her dream had been so horribly corrupted and facing multiple arrests for her protests, boycotts, and public disturbances, fought fiercely to have the holiday removed from the calendar until the day she died at the age of 84. Jarvis's distress with the holiday is still alive and well, not by those who celebrate it, but by those of us who have mothers who don't deserve to be celebrated. Jarvis's disgust that her beautiful vision had been destroyed by greed, competition, and coercion got me thinking. Taking something that is supposed to be precious and exploiting it for all it's worth under the guise of a beautiful image to get away with it isn't very far off what toxic mothers do to their children. If you've seen me before, you'll know that I do a lot of my research on groups and forums for parents of estranged children. So I went back to the groups to show you what I mean. The first thing you notice is that toxic mothers handle Mother's Day the same way they handle everything else, with entitled victimhood. The fact that they get a whole day dedicated to their martyrdom just douses the holiday in whole new levels of insufferable. And it all starts and ends with a title, Mother. The overwhelming majority of the complaints are firmly set in the notion that the title alone warrants celebration and veneration. Not what they've done to earn the title or live up to it, just owning it, which also says a lot, is good enough. Which is ironic because for the kids who do reach out on Mother's Day, nothing they propose is good enough. There is story after story of kids taking shifts off work, buying gifts or organizing meals out, whose efforts were picked apart, insulted, and even rejected outright. 4 hours isn't long enough. The gift doesn't show enough appreciation. The restaurant is too far or too close or too drab. Some of these mothers hadn't heard from their kids in months, but instead of using the moment to talk or to listen, they used it to remind them that nothing they did was ever good enough. The mothers who hadn't heard from their kids in years, if not decades, may or may not have given up hope, but what they never give up on is the opportunity to play the victim. Wailing about empty vases and letterboxes cues the whole "after all we've done for them" spiel, which of course only leads to more outrage. And in case you were wondering, these women are not sad, they are furious. They are furious that the title that bought them decades of immunity from accountability is now being scorned. No one ever asks why all these kids are this upset, because none of them think it matters. I've still yet to come across one member of any of these groups who is not of the opinion that whatever happened before the estrangement doesn't matter in the slightest. All that matters is that they brought these children into the world, and if they are not eternally grateful for that and proving it by showering their parents with reverence and pretty presents, these kids are selfish, spoiled brats who deserve all the hell their parents can throw at them. No more information necessary. Those who have grandchildren are twice as furious because they have double the reason to be. Not only have their horrible brats refused to give them the celebration they deserve, they've kept the grandchildren from doing it too. These children aren't even theirs. Some haven't even met them. But it doesn't stop these parents from insisting that their grandchildren should be falling all over themselves to spoil their grandmothers, and the only reason they don't is because their disgusting kids won't let them. If they find out that their kids and grandchildren have spent the day with another woman, it is Armageddon. Not one of them stops to think why their kids would prefer the company of someone who is nice to them, only how cruel they are for leaking photos for their mothers to find, stalking, accidentally stumble across on Facebook. Then they go after the poor woman and crucify her for brainwashing them into going no contact. And if it's not for some poor woman, it's the scourge of social media and people like me who force the pandemic of estrangement onto their weak-minded kids. As usual, all this fury only leads to vengeance. They delight in telling each other that they can't wait for the day their kids' children cut them off. They hope and they pray their kids get fired or evicted or sick. For those of you in the legal field, May must be a pretty lucrative month because this is the time the wills are redrawn and the letters are drafted to inform their brats that they've been disinherited. The last phase in this predictable pattern, as usual, arrives in the form of the advice these parents give to each other, which is to go someplace nice for the weekend to avoid awkward questions, forget about all their rotten kids, and to spoil and pamper themselves because they deserve it. At least they apply the same no more information necessary approach to their peers as they do to their kids. No one needs to know how the kids are the side of the story or the parents' side to prove that just being estranged is proof enough that they are wonderful mothers who deserve to be celebrated and their kids are disgusting for refusing to respect that. Hey, I never said they weren't consistent. My point is, these parents are always far more concerned with their victimhood and their fury than reconciliation, and Mother's Day is no exception. They do what they always do, deflect and hide and tell everyone who will listen that how all this turned out was somehow their kid's choice. I have been asked more times than I can count, and I have been accused of misrepresenting estranged parents even more than that. So before it comes up again, no. Not once have I seen an estranged parent take a look at these posts and conversation full of parents who wish suffering on their own children, who all can't wait for the day that they are broke or homeless or ill, and say, now hang on, that's a little disturbing. I spend just as much time on groups for estranged children, and despite all they've been put through, I have never once seen them hope and pray for their parents' misery or downfall. But no, it's the kids who are the problem. So, what can we do about this? We refocus, we accept, and we redirect. First, refocus. For those of us who are mothers ourselves, it is still very hard to wrench our focus from our own mother's cruelty to Jarvis's mission of what Mother's Day is supposed to be about. A mother's love, and how our children choose to celebrate it. We weren't given this choice. We were anticipating and avoiding the rage and disappointment by trying like hell to figure out what we could do to make our mothers happy, while our mothers made sure we never would. We tend to forget that our children do have this choice, and they are choosing to celebrate Mother's Day lovingly, adorably, and honestly. Our children aren't bound by the duty and obligation and fear of the tantrum, silent treatment, punishment, revenge the way we were, because we work our asses off ensuring they will never have the mothers we did. Our children just want to acknowledge us, and we need to let them. Priceless macaroni artworks, cards still dripping in paint, being ordered to stay in bed, eating our soggy toast. This is the time to smile and sip our cold coffee, safe in the knowledge that any eggshells we have to deal with today are probably in our breakfasts. This is also the time to be fiercely proud of the families we built, despite our mother's best efforts to tear them down. Breaking the cycle is agonizing and terrifying, but it is worth every damn minute. And the determination and courage it took to do it is cause for its own celebration. For those of us who aren't parents, it's time for acceptance. Channel your inner Anna and remove Mother's Day from your calendar. Ignore the holiday entirely, or spend it on someone worth celebrating, someone who has shown you kindness, or you. Do something fun and different or peaceful and relaxing. Your mother may not be worth celebrating, but you certainly are, and a day spent cementing that is always a day well spent. Focus on what you don't miss instead of what you think you're missing out on. I don't miss my mother insulting everything from my marriage to my home to the way I raise my family the moment I walk through her door. I don't miss the eggshells and the manipulation I dealt with all day or the damage control I had to run when I got home. I don't miss her raging disapproval or tantrums, no matter how much I planned or spent or pandered to. And I certainly don't miss my daughter's unhappy confusion as she watched her grandmother use the day as another opportunity to hurt her family. Now, redirect. It's all too easy to wallow in what we're missing out on and what we did to deserve that. Remember, it was never our choice, and that is our mothers who are missing out. The fun, laughter, enjoyment of not just one day, but a lifetime and the unmitigated joys, amazement, and pride the parent-child relationship provides every day. Our mothers could have chosen to be part of the most special bond humans have ever known. Instead, they chose pain, spite, and misery and continue to choose it. And that is their shameful burden to carry, not yours. So cheers to you, Anna. Whether we embrace your original vision or tear it from our calendars, know that there is a remarkable group of people who carry on your legacy, because even though we never had a mother's love, we know exactly what it should be. Right, I am taking on new clients, or you can download my course. The details are in the description. See you soon.